Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Evans, roll call, please.
Mrs. Denny? Mrs. Ellis?
Here.
Mr. Hefton?
Here.
Mrs. Jones?
Here.
Mr. Mancinelli? Here. Mr. Seashot?
Here.
Mr. Tinsley? Here. Mr. Twisler?
Here.
Mr. Arnold?
Here. 2.01 is the approval of minutes. Motion is to approve the minutes of August 16th through September 20th, the special board meeting of August 23rd, 2023. Do we have this motion?
So moved.
Second. Questions or comments? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. 2.02 is the invoice listing. Motion is to approve the invoice listing for August through September of 2024. Do I have this motion?
So moved.
Second. Questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Ms. Ellis, Treasurer's Report, please.
As of July 31st, 2023, Penn-Delco's balance was $32,891,600. During the August 2023, local, state, and federal revenues totaled $32,614,989. Disbursements were issued in the amount of $7,601,528. And as of August 31st, Penn-Delco's current balance is $57,905,061. The motion is to approve the treasurer's report for August 2023. So moved.
Second. Questions or comments? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. I'd like to welcome tonight's student representatives report to the board. Welcome this year. First meeting back, and turn it over to you.
Hello, members of the board. It is very nice to be with you again as we start off this new school year. I'm very excited to be back this year as Sophie's replacement, and I know that this is going to be a great year. I would like to start off today by introducing the new Vice President of the Student Senate, Olivia Ellis. Okay, and let's dive into the fun stuff, shall we? The school year has just begun, and with that comes the annual homecoming game and dance. Students in all grades have been working tirelessly on their floats for the homecoming parade that will be held this Friday. The theme for this year is movies, and I, for one, am very excited to see what each class creates. And just throwing it out there, but the Seniors Wizard of Oz themed float is looking pretty good. Tickets for homecoming were sold this previous week during lunches for all grades. Moving on, fall sports are officially halfway through with their seasons, and things are off to a good start. Some highlights so far have been our volleyball team, who are off to a great winning start as per usual, and our boys soccer team, who recently won the Vanguard Invitational Cup for the first time in 4 years. As you can guess, school spirit is at an all-time high as our student section continues to grow louder and prouder with each home game at the Valley. Finally, with the start of the new year, many honor societies have begun to come together and have meetings to talk about plans for the upcoming year. Honor societies at Sun Valley finalized their members toward the end of last year and have now begun to discuss their plans with new and old members.
Hello again, my name is Olivia Ellis and I'm honored to be the new Vice President of Student Senate and cannot wait to see what's in store for this year. To begin, the sophomores, juniors, and seniors had the opportunity to buy their class rings during lunches this month, and it looks like many students have been excited to purchase them. A class ring rep was present to help with sizing so that each student could be satisfied with their purchase. This month, many college representatives have come to Sun Valley to talk to interested juniors and seniors about their programs and schools. This is a great opportunity for students to get a feel for colleges they want to attend without having to physically go to the college. It is a great resource for the students at Sun Valley, and many have been taking advantage of it. Also, with the start of the new year, many honor societies have begun to come together and have meetings. Oh wait, is that yours? The National Honor Society was recently asked to help with Aston and Brookhaven's Community Days. We've also recently helped out the freshmen at orientation and are planning some big things coming up this year. Our induction is coming up in November, and we are very excited to see the new faces of NHS. We've been working with Miss Mayali these last few weeks, and she has been very great, picking up the gist of things very quickly.
Thank you very much. Welcome, James. Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Number 4 tonight is DCI's report, which we have none. Number 5 is superintendent's report, Dr. Stein.
Thank you. Well, good evening, members of the board. I'll present from the floor again, and also to everybody who was here joining us tonight. Great to have you, great to have your interest. Number of items I had in our superintendent's report that typically can run quite lengthy, but recognizing that we have a lot of guests in the house this evening, I will try to truncate my comments just a little bit. We have had a really fantastic start. This is my 16th year beginning as a superintendent at Penn-Delco. This start has felt like it's just a really terrific one. It's a testament to our staff, to the kids, to the families, to the principals who worked very hard to make sure that we had a great kickoff. We opened our doors to 3,237 students. I'm really excited to say we were nervous about full-day kindergarten, but it has gone splendid. It's been wonderful to be able to bring full-day kindergarten to this school district with the resources that we have to be able to have small class sizes, full-day kindergarten for parents. Huge resource. And because of that, likely, our number of kindergarten students ticked up. It's typically 180. We have 210 full-day kindergarten students now in our building, and it's great to have them in here. So it's been a wonderful start. This time of year, we also make sure to be a presence at the community days, which are fantastic. You know, we love the partnerships that we have with the 3 municipalities. The first one has already been held. I was at that, very well attended. Great turnout by our Parkside staff. Wonderful to see so many kids and parents. Our Teachers Association, our support staff, they host district tables. We do Penn-Delco Proud photos. We post that on social media. We give out T-shirts. Just an opportunity to connect with the students, the communities, and the families. And we look forward to being at Brookhaven's Day, Family Day on September 30th, coming up in just a few days, and also the Aston Community Day on the 7th. Really pleased that we continue to have a partnership and a presence at those events. As the student rep to the board mentioned, homecoming up on Friday. We will tell you we are monitoring that very closely, weather permitting. Only one time since I've been here have we had to cancel the parade, and Friday night is looking tough. I mean, the game will happen. We will honor homecoming court. We want to play Penwood. There will be a homecoming dance Saturday night, but we'll have to make some hard decisions tomorrow evening, certainly by noon at the very, very latest, because they're calling for some tough weather, and we can't have a parade in the rain when you have cars without tops, and you have the marching band, and you have floats. Just would not work. So we'll keep an eye on that. And there's the names of really wonderful students who are being recognized in the homecoming court for this year. This year also brought news this month, rather, of the Sun Valley High School being named to the best high schools list by U.S. News and World Report. And I was really happy to see that, because when you're in the building, when you see what happens in there, and you rate the building by what the kids do and what you see, you know why they deserve to be in there. And we're really pleased to see that. A lot of wind at the sails at Sun Valley, as you will see. Today, we hosted the first multi-team cross-country meet for the first time that the athletic director and I can ever remember. And really, this is a sign of initiative. The coaches, the athletic director, the athletes are saying, why be average if we can be great? We should host a multi-meet at our site. And there you had Trevor had a great race, and there you had Kate had a great race, and the team. They're building a program, and they're keeping kids involved. It's wonderful to see. Got a lot of compliments from the Westchester Ruskin coach. But these are the things that we see from our kids on a regular basis. You know, one of our 5 C's in our portrait of a graduate is character. A lot of districts talk about the 4 C's. We added a 5th, character. And we promote that by making sure there are opportunities for our students to be grateful and give back to the community. So we had the Frank Garrett charity game at the volleyball team, wonderful program. They made sure to take time out to recognize something as important as the Pan Foundation for Pancreatic Cancer. While a lot of people were in their house on a Sunday, Sun Valley cheerleaders are preparing and packaging 150 bag lunches. They filled 4 cars with donated clothing, donated cases of water to the Kensington Project. Northley Cross Country, the middle school team, wonderful start at Northley this year. They're also coming out, spending time preparing and packaging lunches for the Kensington Project. So developing character is very important for us, as well as making sure the kids learn what they need to learn. It starts early, right? Here's our beautiful school at Coburn. They make sure that every year they go out and they honor the first responders who cycle through the county in memory of those affected by September 11th. So empathy, respect, patriotism, those are the kind of feelings that we start to instill in our kids at very early ages. Last Friday night, it was great to be at the game. Far right, there's a picture of our student section. You know, they get compliments every week for a good reason. They're great kids, come out, they enjoy the game, they do the right thing, they behave themselves, they reflect really well in our community. The kids pick the themes, and our students themselves decided that last week was going to be the Pink Out football game. So they sold t-shirts to raise funds for breast cancer and honored 3 survivors, including parents and teachers and former staff members. So hats off to them because they give back to the community. If you want to be a part of that, consider working in our school district. We will be increasing the outreach that we do to try to make sure that people understand that there are opportunities to work in this district. School districts across the country are fighting for the same workforce everywhere you go. We're looking for drivers, aides, hall monitors, paraprofessionals, security for those people who might want to potentially get into law enforcement, right? Many times you start as a security officer. Long-term, short-term building substitutes. You no longer have to have a teaching degree. If you have a college degree and you want to learn what it's like to be a teacher, go through a training program that Kelly Substitutes offers, contact the HR office. So we will work hard to make sure people are aware of these options. Last week I talked to the board about a pilot program that we're looking to introduce at Parkside Elementary called the Leader in Me pilot program. For people who are familiar with the 7 habits of highly effective people, Franklin Covey work, the 4 disciplines of execution, they have a module and a program for high school, middle school, and even elementary. And parents are very clear, you know, let's start teaching important life skills to kids at early ages. How to be responsible, how to set goals, time management, public speaking. And Leader in Me enables us to do that. But we want to make sure that it's a good program, that it has a value before we roll it out to the entire district. And Parkside, you know, as a leadership school that they are, their staff said, yep, sign us up, we're happy to give this a try. One of the things I love about it, it culminates in a theme day in which the students themselves kind of lead the school and present their personal leadership projects to the school community. So we're happy to give this a shot, pilot it at Parkside, and I'm looking forward to seeing how the program operates throughout the year. On tonight's agenda, the school board is asked to approve a comprehensive plan. You'll see on the left-hand side a 1-page document that's also on our website that we put together to condense the critical items in a comprehensive plan that, when printed out, can run 140 pages. Our mission and vision we'll speak to in a second. It does include our 3 established priorities, which we'll speak to, and then measurable goals. We're going to be implementing the Ed Leader 21 multi-year roadmap. We're putting our portrait of graduate into practice and developing 21st century skills. By the end of the 2026 school year, we will have ready-for-life knowledge, skills, and dispositions identified for each grade level. We'll have those established. So, for instance, teaching a kindergarten student the proper way to respectfully greet an adult or a stranger. That is something that you want to teach kids. How do you tie your shoe? That's a ready-for-life skill that a kindergarten student might need to have. Far different than what a 12th grader would need to have. And we'll have those for each grade. The district will develop and implement the components of a curriculum management program that will help our staff with instructional strategies, resources, and assessments, K-12. 100% of our districts will be implementing the MTSS approach, which is a multi-tiered system of supports to ensure that all students, high, low, and in between, receive personalized attention regardless of their skill level. And we'll also make sure that there are effective anti-bullying programs, SEL programs, positive behavior programs, and school-wide character programs in place. A little more on that. We had very, very successful feedback from the survey we sent to parents, staff, and the community last spring. In summary, some of the main points that came out: high levels of satisfaction and appreciation for teachers and staff, which I'll show you in a second. Parents said critical thinking, character development, and collaboration. These are priority skill areas that we think our kids need because we know that that's what employers are looking for. Getting students ready for life was rated as more important than doing test prep and worksheet packets just to raise school rankings. Keeping students safe came up a lot, physically and emotionally. That was noted as a priority in an increasingly unsafe world that we live in. Please make sure that our kids are safe. So that was a big piece in the feedback. The district and school communication efforts were rated highly. We've been asking the principals to stay on top of their weekly and bi-weekly newsletters. Feedback suggested that there should be more learning partnerships with local businesses and institutions, and I agree with that. So we'll be looking at establishing some more community partnerships to help our kids get more real-life experiences. All the groups surveyed were interested in seeing this kind of talk and about our vision and portrait of graduate. Be a little more specific. So parents said less worksheets, more higher order thinking, problem-based learning, 21st century skills development, academic pathways, and lessons that are relevant to life and future careers. Folks had asked for full day K, we delivered. Folks had asked for a breakfast program. We anticipate we will have that in place potentially within the next 2 months. There was a request to have continued social media presence so that we could combat misinformation that gets spread, and also consider additional opportunities to share positive news stories about our students to reflect the actual school experience. This is just an example. We had, I think, 48 pages, if you printed out all the open-ended responses. And this one really, I thought, tells the story. One of the questions was, what makes you Penn-Delco proud? If it's highlighted, it talks about people or our programs. And that meant a lot to us. A lot of times folks were saying, you know, this particular teacher, this staff, the faculty, the support staff, that we have safe and supportive schools. My children have loved this district. They love the opportunities to do dual enrollment, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So these weren't my words. These were the words from the parents who took the survey themselves. And again, the highlighted parts. My students are excelling and are recognized for the hard work. The music, the band programs have been an important part of all my students' growth. So those type of things. Teachers and staff, love and care, great nurturing environment, on and on and on. So I shared this with our staff at our back to school because I wanted them to understand that the work that they do is honorable and it's also appreciated. So our mission is called out again, the comprehensive plan. Enable all students to achieve, succeed, and excel. Achieve mastery of core academic competencies. So for instance, we know that to be successful, students have to be able to read and respond to text by the end of 3rd grade. Otherwise, there is very difficult outcomes. So that's a core academic competency. Succeed in acquiring ready-for-life skills. And that last one's important. Excel in the pursuit of a personal talent or interest. We don't really want any student to be in their final years of high school and you say, hey, what's your thing? And they say, I really don't know. What are you interested in? I'm not sure. What excites you? And not much. That's not what we want to do. So we want to partner with parents. So we want to make sure that we give kids opportunities to pursue their personal talent or their interest. And that comes about by having a lot of after-school clubs, for instance. And the high school has been trying to expand its offerings of affinity groups and activities so that kids can say, this is what I'm good at. Every kid should feel that they know that they're good at something or they're interested in becoming something better than themselves. Our vision stays the same. We're committed to ensuring graduates are ready for life, prepared and capable to make a contribution to society. So here's the 3 pillars. Those 140 pages were put into 3 areas. Well-being and belonging. We heard that from all of our surveys. That mental health matters now. Kids need supports. Kids need to feel like they fit in and that they belong at the school. Kids should want to go to school and be with their friends. Highest quality teaching, and I believe that that's the core piece. The most important thing that we can do is support and train our teachers. Hire the best that we can hire and have them stick to high fidelity, high impact, proven teaching methods. And then readiness for life, as we've talked about. We break those down into action plans. I will mention those 3 items, curiously enough, match almost exactly to what they call the new 3 R's. That good schools offer rigor, relevance, and they make an effort to build positive relationships. Those three fit right in there. High quality teaching. We have a new data warehouse for our staff. We are building an updated curriculum management plan. Tier 1 strategies means that when teachers see kids who need supports and need interventions, they don't just say go down the hall and get tested for special ed. No, they do it in their own classroom. They provide those supports in the first lowest level tier. A revised curriculum map that's updated with revised standards. Readiness for life. We're talking about academic pathways. We will assess our course offerings to make sure they're relevant to our kids. Establish an artificial intelligence task force to figure out how do we manage schooling in the time of AI, when kids can just go and chat GPT and get answers. How do we incorporate that and teach people to use artificial intelligence responsibly? Have competencies, more service opportunities, and continue to expand our dual enrollment, which we have done. And then finally, well-being and belonging. As I mentioned, you address that by a lot of co-curriculars, clubs for kids, because we want them to be doing things that they enjoy. We want them to be around friends. Physical security enhancements. Right? We've been doing that. We had an assessment of all of our schools by the Center for Safe Schools to ensure that our practices conform with best practice in terms of school security. A lot of parents talked about that. They're worried about shootings that they hear about in schools around the country. Never ever want to see that happen in ours. Supports for our employees, character education, mental health services for some students who really need the supports. The parents are asking us to help them. We want to be able to help them as well. So those items are listed in there. Thank you. Before I step up and say. Anyway, these are all achievable goals that we really feel confident can happen because we're just building upon what are already in place, our everyday actions. And finally, I'll mention that just like the Eagles colors sometimes evolve a little bit. You had the Kelly green, you have the midnight green. The tagline's going to evolve a little bit as well, from excellence in education to committed to excellence, because what we do is a lot more than what people think of in terms of just education. We want our custodians to say, be committed to excellence. We want our maintenance workers to be committed to excellence. We want our bus drivers to follow the best practices, be committed to excellence. I want my administrators to be committed, not just to be average, but to be excellent in our responses to parents in our community. And that concludes my superintendent's report for this month.
Thank you, Dr. Steinhoff. Number 7, announcements for the public. Tonight, board met in executive session to discuss personnel and litigation matters. Any comments by members of the board? Number 8 is items for board information. The board has asked Dr. Steinhoff to give us an update on some procedures we've been working on this month.
Sure, yeah. I don't normally talk right after superintendent's report, but I was happy to come back and provide some information as requested by the school board of the administration. So last week, the school board and the administration heard from parents who had questions about the requirements of public school districts to permit students to use bathrooms that align with their gender identity. As you remember, between Mr. Pupio, who serves as our legal advisor and solicitor, and myself, we refreshed the school board and shared with those who were in attendance last Wednesday the legal basis that informs practice that school districts must permit. We referred to court rulings, Title IX regulations, guidance from governmental agencies that all serve to inform the public school districts in our region who also permit bathroom use based on gender identity. Finally, I shared an example of the adverse and costly impact that school districts have suffered when they attempted to enforce a policy based solely on biology at birth that does not accept the gender identity as an option. Now, it was mentioned that on this matter, a board or staff member's individual beliefs or opinion about what should or should not be a practice is really immaterial to governing and administrative obligations. These are obligations which must, of course, comply with law, should be responsible to all students, should be equitable, and meet the fiduciary duty that taxpayers expect of us. The key and most important point was that this discussion around gender identity should remain focused on people, not burdened by the disputes over policy or procedures. The matter impacts students, all students in the school. All of them are deeply loved. Our district will care equally about all students, regardless of their sex, orientation, or identity. And to that end, since we know that students with a bona fide and sincerely held gender identity that is contrary to their sex assigned at birth have a right to certain accommodations, we can also acknowledge the feelings of the rest of our students who report being potentially uncomfortable or who struggle with this arrangement as well.
Because the guys in a girl's bathroom.
Guys, this is not time for public comment, please.
As our principal has said, discomfort of any student will always be something that we will work to relieve and address, and I compliment the high school and facilities for quick action. Since last Wednesday, they have already added 2 more gender-neutral, single-use bathrooms to address the issue. Now, to be responsive to concerns brought to our attention, we have begun work on administrative regulations that will provide reassurance and clarity for students and parents and guidance for staff. This has not been a matter that has been brought to our attention that required this type of detail. Now that has been brought to our attention, we need to be responsive and work to solve a problem that has been brought to our attention, which we're doing. So an administrative regulation of that sort will make general practices that have been in place more apparent, and they could include something along the lines of the following. Schools maintain separate restroom facilities for male and female students in accordance with Title IX regulations, mandatory court rulings from the Third Circuit Court, and non-discrimination policies. Where schools maintain separate restroom facilities for male and female students, transgender students shall have access to the restroom that corresponds to their gender identity. Students who are not transgender, do not need bathroom accommodations, shall use the restrooms that correspond to their sex assigned at birth or a single-use bathroom that is available. Schools shall consider bathroom use requests based on gender identity on a case-by-case, student-by-student, student-specific basis. Students indicating a need for a bathroom accommodation must meet with their counselor prior to approval to ensure that the school is aware of all potential accommodations that the student may be required for the student. This meeting, which serves to best support the student, also serves to substantiate the sincerity and necessity of the accommodation. Once a student is approved to use facilities aligned with gender identity, the student is required to use those facilities. Where available, a single-stall restroom should be made available to any student, transgender or not, who wants increased privacy, regardless of the underlying reason. If a student wants increased privacy, an administrator or designee shall make every effort to provide the student with reasonable access to an alternative restroom, such as a single-stall restroom. The use of such a single-stall restroom must, according to the law, be a matter of choice for a student, and no student is to be compelled to use such a restroom in accordance with law. The school district may take steps to designate or create additional gender-neutral restrooms throughout its district facilities. The school district may engage architectural design assistant to determine if a restroom or locker room modifications could occur that may increase privacy for all students. The school district may provide more private options for changing in locker room use that can include single-use areas, private stalls, curtained areas, or use of a separate room. The annual student handbooks will be updated to provide notice of the procedures. The school district will continue to be non-discriminatory in its practices and procedures to ensure adequate levels of privacy, support, and comfortability for all students, regardless of identity. So I believe, to our board members, that steps such as those that I've outlined here reflect a good faith effort by this board to respond to concerns that have been brought to our attention while keeping the best interests and rights of transgender and cisgender students as continued matters of importance. Thank you.
Just a quick note for those who are new to board meetings, so they know how it proceeds. We're now comments by members of the public for agenda items only. This time you can speak on agenda items only. It's up to 3 minutes per person, 15 minutes total, and everything comes from the podium. And please state what agenda item you are addressing. Talk button.
I remember when I was walking through these halls.
So you have to,
My name is Brian Devine. I live 172 Meadowbrook Lane in Brookhaven.
what agenda item you speak?
I'm speaking on the bathroom agenda.
That is not an agenda item.
Are you kidding me?
The agenda, sir. Not an agenda.
Okay, so then who can we talk to about this?
At the end of the meeting, there's a section for public comment.
For public comment at the end.
That's right.
This section of public comment for items on the agenda.
It's been that way, always has.
First of all, my name is Joseph Dashala. D is in David, Y is in yellow, C is in Charles, H is in Henry, A is in Apple, L is in Larry, A is in Apple. I live on Donnelly Avenue. I've been a member of the Aston Township community since 1985. I'm a 1990 graduate of Sun Valley. I'd like to address three things, but I want to preface this. One, you're not under any obligation to take public comments, but once you do, this podium is open and protected under the First Amendment as a public forum.
What agenda item
As a
are you
public
discussing?
forum.
Sir, you're incorrect. You're incorrect. The policy, once a policy is set, this board governs those procedures.
I'd like to talk about
That is not for this time.
Sir, that is not. There is a public comment
At the end of the
portion
meeting.
of the meeting at the end where you discuss items that are not on the agenda.
So I will have an
There are no-
opportunity to address the board at the end of the meeting, sir.
There's 30 minutes.
It's 30 minutes.
3 minutes a
Okay,
person.
then I will wait until the end of the meeting, but I'm not going anywhere, and my First Amendment rights will not be violated. Okay?
Outstanding. Is there
Very
any
good.
member of the public that wishes to comment on a specific item on the agenda at this point in the meeting?
We got issues.
You know, I won't hear it. That's the reason it wasn't put on the agenda.
Public comment is closed on the
Legal
agenda.
sneaky stuff.
We'll start on page 2, goes on page 3, 4, 5, 7, page 8, Penn-Delco 1, 2022 through 2023, Penn-Delco 1, 2023 through 2024, Act 93 plan, PDEA agreement, PDESDA agreement, PDSSDA agreement, PA Code Section 1108D. It is the administrative recommendation to approve all personnel items as presented. Do I have this motion?
So moved.
Second.
Questions or comments? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Tonight we'll do a consent agenda for 10.03 through 10.15. Does anyone wish to vote separately? With that, I need a motion to approve 10.03 through 10.15.
So moved.
Second. Questions or comments? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Any comments by members of the board? All right, number 11 on tonight's agenda is comments by members of the public. Tonight, please restrict your comments to 3 minutes. If not, you're taking up someone else's time, and the whole section is limited to 30 minutes.
Good evening. My name is Emily Willow. I'm speaking on behalf of GSA at Sun Valley High School, and I've read your bylaws, and I don't live in the community, but it does say that a community member can speak on behalf of a group. I can show you in your bylaws.
I understand the bylaws. Has your entity
GSA has
authorized you-
existed for over a decade.
Have
at
they
Sun Valley.
authorized you specifically to be here and speak on their behalf?
I am the teacher sponsor of GSA at Sun Valley High School. I'm the art teacher. I'm allowed to start now? Okay. Good evening. I personally read many hurtful posts, comments, and emails surrounding this current issue, and I hope that by reading the actual words of trans and non-binary Sun Valley students that it might affect the way you speak about students here this evening going forward. I want to remind each member of the community that is speaking tonight that trans and non-binary people you're speaking about this evening are children. They are students, and they are scared. I would like my time to be respected as I will respect yours. Most of them have been scared for years and have
Hey, can you guys please respect this lady while she speaks?
Great, thank you. And have felt frightened because of this very public backlash. I'm going to read statements by students. I'm not speaking my opinion. A sophomore at GSA writes, being a black and queer student at Sun Valley High School is not as easy as other people may think. The things I see around me have always made me scared to express myself. I have seen my queer friends get picked on because they are not scared of who they are. I have seen some people have it worse than others, but what I can't do, that my friends can do, is ignore their hate and judgment. If I expressed myself, I would no longer be unbothered. I would have to be at school for another 2 years and just hope that they mature enough to see how hurtful the things they have been saying are. The slurs I'm called in the hallway are not targeted at my queerness. Not yet, at least. A 16-year-old junior writes, being a queer student at Sun Valley is hard. Not feeling accepted by the people who are supposed to be your peers is awful. It can make you feel extremely isolated and alone, like there is no one that will understand what you're going through. Halfway through my freshman year, I came out as trans. I struggled with deciding to come out, but once I did, I was met with love and understanding from my friends and family. All of my teachers were extremely supportive and understanding. Cannot thank those people enough. I haven't used the women's bathroom in a long time. I feel extremely uncomfortable and also unwelcome there. I've always opted to use the nurse's bathroom. While it is a viable option, it's not the most convenient. It's all the way across the school, and it isn't always accessible. I shouldn't have to avoid eating and drinking and forcing myself to hold it all day or walk halfway across the school, missing classes during this crucial time as a junior just to use the bathroom at school. I want to be able to use the boys' bathroom, but I know that as a trans student, I would most likely get beat up or straight up attacked. Every queer student should be able to feel comfortable, safe, and accepted by their teachers, peers, and admin. But this is not currently a place where that happens. I hope that one day it can be.
Ma'am, that's the time, 3 minutes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 20 seconds, sir.
3 minutes and 27 seconds. I'll keep the clock.
I will.
Ms. Will, I would note sometimes individuals that run out of time will submit their comments in writing to the school board.
I have my statement if the board would like to see it.
You and anyone else in the room have the ability to submit comments if they run out of time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Jamie Hogan, 2157 North Lee Lane, Aston, PA. There is no greater warrior than a mother protecting her children. Last week, today, tomorrow, and however long it takes, I will stand here and continue to remind you of this. My number one job as a mother is to protect my kids. I will not allow anyone to hurt them physically or psychologically. Sadly, children are the ones who are losing out in all of this. Their innocent school experiences and memories are being taken away from them. I know majority of the people here, including most of you up here, feel the same way. I believe we can all agree the safety of all children in Penn-Delco School District is the number one priority. I am no fool. I know this argument goes well beyond Penn-Delco, but I refuse to sit back and take it on the chin. I understand this entire problem is a federal issue, but as another parent stated last week, why can't we be the first district to work together to come up with a solution that fits all?
Amen. What side of history you want to be on?
I know the cost of lawsuits came up last week, but I am here to inform you, you will never put a price tag on my child's safety and well-being. With that being said, the district should be doing things to help regulate or control this situation. I think it is important for us to ask how they will be regulated at school, who gives permission to these children to use non-assigned bathrooms. I know at last week's study session, you assured us that only children with permission will be granted access to non-assigned bathrooms, but I am here to inform you that's not the case. I am not sure if you are aware, but last week, just in Sun Valley, a biological male was in the women's bathroom. He sat on the sink talking to the girls, stating, if anyone asks, I identify as a girl. And this right here is exactly what myself and the majority of the parents here were afraid was going to happen.
Amen.
This is not only the beginning. How would you be able to stop a non-transgender from entering the bathroom just to get off, or worse, assault another student? What if it was it even considered that there may be girls in Penn-Delco that have experienced sexual trauma and now they're going to be exposed to men and women in their locker rooms and bathrooms? How is this creating safe places for those girls, or any girls for that matter? And what about our sons? It goes vice versa for both of them. If someone decides to gender identify and accuses them of sexual assault, there are sick people everywhere. I'm sure you recall from the countless articles I shared with the board last week, where last year in Loudoun County, Virginia, under district policy, a trans student was allowed into the women's bathroom where he assaulted a girl. To cover it up, they moved him to another school where he did it again. In Riverside, California, a transgender high school student exposed his genitals in the locker room. Then when confronted by the girl, he beat her senseless. In October of 2021, a 12-year-old girl was assaulted and violently attacked by a transgender classmate in the bathroom. 12 years old. A transgender student in Oklahoma assaults 2 female students in the girls' restroom at a high school. This has happened multiple times in multiple states. I have the documents right here. I will gladly share them.
Thank you for your comment. Just 3 minutes.
My name is Joseph Dashaw. I live on Donnelly Avenue. I've been here since 1985, 1990, graduate of Sun Valley. 3 comments. One is about the taxes. Just because you can raise them every year doesn't mean you should. The old adage of jumping off a bridge applies. Stop it. Take some money out of the bank. You guys got money in the coffers. Use it. Enough of the taxes. We're bleeding here. 2, safety. There were 4 police cruisers and 2 ambulances had to show up for a fight between 2 8th grade girls from Northley. While it didn't happen on Penn-Delco property, this is very distressing. The community's probably not even aware of this. I also understand there was a racial component involved. Now, number 3, this whole transgender thing. Trans people are liars. They lie to themselves about what they are, and this is a problem. Furthermore, if you want to solve this problem, here's what you do. Boys think they're girls, you give them an outhouse. By the middle of January, they're back in school and they're not confused anymore. There is a reason children are called dependents, because they depend on the adults in their life, their teachers, their principals, their board members, their superintendents, and police, and everybody else interested in engaged parents. They are dependent on us to guide and lead them. Social and emotional learning is garbage. It is nothing useful to the kids. They need to learn the 3 R's, reading, writing, and arithmetic. The only 3 R's. Our only goal of the school board and the school should be as follows: to educate the students, to prepare them to be successful at any career that they so choose to do, and also to be upstanding members of society. That is the goal of the schools. I get my pocket picked every year from this school board raising taxes incessantly without no end to it. You guys are doing a worse job than the all Delaware County Democrats that are holding the line on taxes. We know that's going to change pretty soon. So in conclusion, okay, you guys got to organize and you got to write in votes and get these guys out. You need 5 write-in candidates to take the school board back. You come see us at Gatsby's in the basement banquet room on the first Thursday of every month, and I will help you get these guys out of here because they're running unopposed And even the Democrats aren't challenging them because the Democrats are getting everything they want out of this transgender and high taxes and everything else, and there it was by less than 3 minutes, sir.
Arithmetic starts with an A.
Yeah, arithmetic is starting with an A. You would know that as a Sun Valley
Yeah,
grad.
and a man with a penis, a boy with a penis is a man.
Brian Devine, 172 Meadowbrook Lane in Brookhaven. Yeah, I really want to bring up that you were saying, okay, people will have special, like if they come to a therapist or whatever, and they'll have special arrangements. So what does that look like? Because I have nieces that go to these school districts. I walk through these school districts, and I got away with smoking cigarettes in the bathroom. So who's to say that you're gonna be able to go into the bathrooms and say, hey, I identify as a girl, and not have sexual activity going on? It's a bunch of teenagers. They're all horny. Are you kidding me, to put bathrooms in with the same gender because they say they identify differently, and you're okay with that? What happens, like they said, what happens if my daughter gets raped because of a guy that wants to identify as a girl? Are you guys okay with that? Yeah, they don't, yeah, okay, that's what I thought. Like they said, in Loudoun County, Virginia, somebody was wearing a dress and had a penis and raped somebody. Is that okay? For the few, is that okay? You're allowing this because they identify different?
Do any of them have kids in the school district?
Yeah, they all do.
I do.
Yes.
Every single one of us.
And you're not worried?
What is the drawing line here? Like, that's really, that's what makes me mad, because you said, oh, we have 2 single-stall bathrooms. Listen, like I said, when I was in school, I used to smoke the cigarettes in the bathroom, and nobody cared. So what's going to happen when you unify bathrooms with girls and guys saying Title IX? Title IX's ruined at this point. Title IX's about women, not transgenders, not because you identify differently. That's all I got.
My name is Kathy Culp. I live at 101 Carriage Lane. As some of you already know, I am a mom of a lot of kids. And I've been a part of this district for over 22 years. I have a little less than 6 years to go, and I never thought in a million years that I think I'd have to stand up in front of you to discuss whether or not my daughter can go to the bathroom without a boy in there. I would also like to ask for you to please stop referring to my daughter as a cisgender. She is a little girl. I am also... Others may choose to label themselves, but I am not one of them. I am here tonight to be the voice for my 13-year-old daughter, my grandsons, and my granddaughters. Not just mine, but yours too. I have found it hard to comprehend that we are even discussing this. Biological boys in my daughter's bathroom or locker room. Little girls in my grandson's bathroom or locker room. I can't believe that I have to fight for my daughter and approximately 1,600 other young women in this district to not be forced to accommodate a handful of students. I am not trying to punish these students. These are decisions and choices they have made. Why should they affect my children, your children? Have you ever considered the possibility of what you may be doing to a daughter, a girl in your district who may or may not have suffered sexual assault or abuse at the hands of a relative in their own home? Their only safe spot is school, and now you're taking that from them. Imagine being that girl in a bathroom stall that you're going to put them into because that's the only safe place for them, not knowing what's on the other side. That is trauma. That is trauma that you're putting on these girls unnecessarily. I appreciate the effort that you have made with the single-use bathrooms, but why are you forcing my daughter to use that bathroom? Why not accommodate these handful of children? They are children, and I'm not faulting them. But why are we changing our children's lives around to accommodate a handful of kids? You say it's about the law. There is no law. You're worried about a lawsuit? You should be worried about a lawsuit because in the case, God forbid, something happens to one of our daughters in your school district. Something happens to one of our sons in your school district. You think you can afford that lawsuit? I'm just begging you to look at it reasonably as us parents are. These are our kids. We want them all to be safe, all of them to have a safe space. I thought that was what it's all about. Everybody deserves a safe space, right? So why are you taking our daughters' safe spaces away? Why are you taking the comfortable places that they have in this school, which obviously there aren't many, and you're taking them from them? So I'm asking you to please think about what you're doing. Like I said last week, be the district. Be the first one to make a change. Be the first one to do the right thing for our children. Thank you.
Hi guys, my name's Maria Hilson, 17 Mill Ridge Drive, Aston, PA. I was here last Wednesday, I'm sure everybody remembers. And from what I gathered last week was that my 3 children, I have 2 girls and a little boy, have absolutely no rights, none at all. They were taken away because some students decided that they want to be a different gender. So my kids and everybody else's kids that are normal or are what they or were assigned at birth have absolutely no rights. My daughter is uncomfortable going to the bathroom. She's a 9th grader in high school. I'm not sure if you guys know how hard it is to be a little girl in 9th grade with a bunch of kids and have a boy walk into the bathroom with you. It's not comfortable. It's not comfortable. And it's not fair that these kids have to fight every day to go to the bathroom and feel safe. It's not fair. We talk about equality, but there is no equality because equality is for the LGBT community. It's not for everybody else.
Amen.
We're giving equality to one specific person. We want equality for every child.
Here we go.
And I did ask, I told you guys last week, bring somebody in the school for now until we can figure out a situation. But at least when I send my kids to school, I want to know that they're safe. I have a little girl who's 7 years old. I will be here for a long time. I will fight every single day until she graduates. I just want you guys to know.
Good evening, Kevin Grime, 244 Gerald Drive. I appreciate Dr. Steinhoff's comments regarding the issue we're all here worried about tonight. I think one thing that we're lacking and we're missing out on is empathy and respect. Empathy for the people suffering from gender dysphoria and people like me that don't want my daughter in a bathroom with someone that identifies as a girl. We need to respect both sides. I can respect people that are in the body they don't belong in. That's something that I don't have to deal with, my kids don't have to deal with, and I'm grateful for that. But there needs to be empathy coming the other direction also. People like me and a majority of people in this room tonight feel like we're cornered a lot of times. We're told we're bigots. I've been told by family members I'm a Nazi, I'm a racist, I'm a transphobe, all these different labels you want to put on me, and I'm none of those things. I possess empathy. I try to impart that on my children every day when we sit down at dinner, because we're one of those families we sit down at dinner every night. I can't imagine being one of those families that's a victim of any of these sexual assaults or any of these issues we talk about, but I just ask everybody in the room tonight, let's remember to respect each other. Let's have empathy for both sides. I hope that the board hears my side, the majority of the room's side, and how we feel. I understand that your hands are tied in some of these situations, but the accommodations shouldn't be solely placed on my daughter going and using the gender-neutral bathroom. She should be able to go in there and use the bathroom and not have to worry. And again, I have a lot of empathy, and I'm glad I'm not in a position where I have to worry about my child going to school and feeling out of place and feeling like they don't belong. That's a fate that I don't understand, and I'm grateful for that. So I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Sarah Constant with a C, Sarah with an H, thank you. I live at 15 Hogue Lane in Aston. I'm speaking on behalf of students. These are students' voices. I'm just continuing that discussion. I just wanted to preface that by saying that some of the most impactful actions that we can make as a community is to listen more, to reflect often, and to react less. I hope these student impact statements will do justice for us as a community whole. Let's place our own personal experiences and opinions aside as the words of our children are heard and respected. Because I know my life experience is different than your life experience, which is different than your life experience, and that's okay. These words are spoken by a senior trans student who writes, "I came to this school to get the chance to live authentically and happily in my body. Unfortunately, a simple and everyday task like using the bathroom is wrought with fear. Last year, I was so afraid of backlash that I consistently dehydrated myself to avoid ever needing to use the bathroom. I did this to the point that my doctors had to intervene, strongly encouraging me to drink more water, but that fear remained. Every time I had to use the bathroom, no longer able to stand the pain of holding it in, I would be nearly immobilized with fear. The only option being to walk across the school, wait, and come all the way back just to find relief or be harassed and judged. This year I started with more confidence in myself and my appearance and was able to use the bathroom not without fear, but with at least a manageable level of it. That was until I was harassed in the halls, disrespected, and here's a big word for me, delegitimized. There we go. I struggled to not relapse into self-destructive behaviors like avoiding food and water. The fear of being watched in my most vulnerable and private moments, the fear of being attacked when there was no adult supervising. The gender-neutral bathrooms are a saving grace, allowing any student privacy. The idea that trans children are in any way dangerous or harmful is nothing but a lie. We are scared every single day. Excuse me, these are the words of our children. You can respect that. I don't see a clown doing any type of jokes, so save the giggles. We are asking for basic respect. We are not monsters to be attacked. She's lucky. These attacks on me and my community, because of our existence, is dehumanizing and shouldn't be tolerated by the board, admin, or our community. Again, we were asked by students to share their voice because they couldn't share it themselves tonight. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Danielle.
Speak up, ma'am.
My name's Danielle Christopher, 1650 Hillcrest Lane. I'm going to piggyback off of what she just said. What we're talking about, like maybe a handful of students here, and we're changing everything for this handful of students that are afraid to go to the bathroom. Well, now we're going to be looking at the majority of students who are going to be afraid to go to the bathroom, where you're going to have this nurse's bathroom with 10 deep. Everyone's going to be late to class before you're going to have an assault. What happened to being proactive versus reactive? Why have we lost that concept? So you're going to wait for something terrible to happen for you to go back and do the right thing?
Yep.
After someone is traumatized that bad in your school district? Is that what you really want? Because I don't think any of us do. What's wrong with these handful of students having to have the faculty bathrooms or the nurse's bathroom? Like someone said earlier, what side of history do you want to be on? Because the side you're going down, that's not going to be the winning side. Thank you.
Dear members of the board, I'm here today because it was brought to my attention that the district was allowing transgender.
Sir, please state your name and address for the board, please.
Okay. Matthew Messenger, 105 Greenbrier Place, graduate of 2007. It was brought to my attention that the district was allowing transgenders to use ladies' restrooms and locker rooms. If this is true, I feel that you have failed to protect our children. You are taking it away from their safety from our daughters. I feel that pleasing a handful of students, like others said, causes a larger majority of your students' discomfort. If I would have thought we were having this conversation when I graduated, I would have laughed it off. I think most of us would. The truth is, by allowing this to happen, you may please a handful of students, but you will be leaving the door open for disaster. The girls will have to constantly look over their shoulders, watch out for perverts, you leave the door open for rapists, which others said happened in Loudoun County, Virginia. Though I do oppose this, I do feel that other students do feel other ways about their sex. I think, like they said, unisex bathrooms. That's all I got.
Hello, my name is Nakaya Jackson, and I live on 2150 Mount Road. I'm a student at Sun Valley.
Speak up.
And as,
Can't hear you.
as someone who was sexually abused my whole childhood by a male, it is very uncomfortable being in a bathroom surrounded by a bunch of men that think that they're women. It's not fair to me, and it's not fair to them that they have to feel like that, but everyone else around them should not feel like uncomfortable. I go to school every day and fear that something's going to happen to me in the bathroom now. And I'm not using a gender-neutral bathroom. That's just not happening. And then that's all I have to say.
That was actually one of your students, not a parent, by the way.
Or a teacher.
You know,
Yes.
or a teacher. Just so you can really let that one sink in. That's just one girl.
Sir, if you'd like to make public comment.
That's all right. Go ahead.
Please
We'll let
step
him go.
forward.
You see the
Press the button.
Oh, it's on.
No, it's not.
It's on. Hi, I'm Angelina Montgomery. I live at 53 Green Lane, Aston, PA. I also go to the school, Sun Valley. I just think it's crazy that I get called transphobic every day for finding it uncomfortable having to go to the bathroom about 2 feet away from somebody that is not the same gender as me, along with about more than half of the school. I support transgender people. I'm not transphobic, but I just think that bathrooms were separated a long time ago for a reason. We shouldn't have to worry about going to the bathroom in general, but the fact that we have to worry about it in school is wild. And the fact that I got told by my principal or assistant principal or something that if I feel uncomfortable, I should go use those gender-neutral bathrooms that's insane. I was assigned at birth to that bathroom, so why do
Atta girl. Another student. 4 students.
Real ones.
Hi, my name is Jules Massey. I go to Sun Valley and I live on 84-6 Aspen Road, Aston, PA. I don't know why I'm speaking, but I think that as a person, it's important to have human decency, and I don't. Oh, like hitting the microphone. I don't think that being transgender affects me or anyone around me, but it affects me until it affects me. So when there's people in the bathroom who don't have the same genitalia as me, but say that they're a female just because they can simply say that they're female, but have no surgery, have no hormones, they don't take hormones, they don't have the sex change or anything like that. It's very different, and it's very uncomfortable for people who have experienced sexual trauma. So that's what I have to say.
That brings brings the public comments to a close tonight.
Don't pay taxes.
If anybody
Let her
needs to,
speak, let her speak.
if anybody would like to stick around and speak individually, please feel free to.
We're not going anywhere, let her speak.
Any comments by members of the public?
You guys really show how much you care by counting minutes. You're not letting people speak in your own town.
Everybody, we have bylaws.
At least let me
You're gonna go ahead and say.
We deviate today. They never, what do
Other
they?
topics on your list tonight?
They don't care. They just don't care.
I know we don't. I see Leon's face this whole time.
Yeah, but none of them are showing any, they're like robots, they're like robots, they're not showing any faces or nothing. Like,
Dr. Samuel, you spoke about empathy and respect, and you're not giving any of it.
nothing. It's an absolute travesty that you guys are showing nothing. There are kids, there are kids, there are future, this isn't Target, this is our kids. Let her speak.
Let her speak.
Let her speak. We want to hear her speak. We want to hear her speak.
How many folks in the audience would like to make public comment?
I think you guys get paid enough to say.
How many folks in the audience would like to make public comment?
These students are there. These
I
students.
understand.
There you go.
Is that all in the audience that would like to discuss that? Mr. Armour,
speak, Mike.
two folks, and as indicated, Mr. Armour indicated if anybody wants to stay around after the meeting and talk about it, we volunteered to do that.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Michelle Parkhill. I live at 31 Venuti Drive, Aston, PA. I'm standing up here today in a way regarding the bathroom situation, but to be honest, some of you may or may not know me. My daughter's been in the school district for a while and last year experienced a lot of bullying and sexual harassment. We had to pull her out for being suicidal in February. And I've kept my mouth shut for a while because I was afraid of backlash, but this just kind of brings me to today. And so she missed most of 8th grade year, and when she returned, she was sexually harassed by a group of boys calling her names, sexual names for no reason. Nothing of what she did for herself. And when we brought it up, it was questioned, like, whoa, what is that? And my husband and I were like, aren't you trained in sexual harassment? This is sexual harassment. If we were to call somebody that at my job, we would have been fired immediately. That would have been immediate grounds for dismissal, immediately. And so I had to point out to a principal, an assistant principal, and a number of other teachers that what she experienced was sexual harassment. If at this point she goes into a female bathroom and a boy comes in who does not identify as a female, and I have nothing against people who are gay, lesbian, trans, whatever it may be, nothing against them at all, but who's to say, who's going to be in there to be able to identify whether that was sexual harassment or not sexual harassment in the bathroom? Because obviously, when I had to bring it up, the school district didn't know what sexual harassment was or what the definition of sexual harassment was for her.
Pathetic.
And she was back for 2 weeks and I had to pull her back out because she became suicidal and wanted to self-harm again. And I had to pull her out and put her back out of school. So who's to say that she's going to be safe and that if she does go to somebody and say, someone just touched me in the bathroom, that it's going to be recognized and identified for her and to keep her safe. Because that's what I have to think about now, is my child, my children who are younger that are still in the school district. I mean, this is just not, I get it. I come from a counseling mental health world. I get it. I'm not bashing anybody for being who they are, who they identify as,
But this is not something that can be left open to just allowing men in the women's bathroom or women in the men's bathroom, vice versa, either way. I have to protect my child in this situation.
Did you get a response from the district after the report on sexual assault was filed?
No.
Who did the report go to, Dr. Kamiko or myself?
I'm not sure, we were just told that the situation was handled.
Of course. Okay, so it wasn't an official, like a Title IX complaint or sexual harassment?
They were
I want to make sure that that didn't get to us and was dismissed.
They were supposed to file a Title IX, but
It would come from the parent.
What?
It would come from the parent.
We actually were not given that option, we were not told about it.
All right, thank you. Let us know tomorrow, Dr. Kamiko and I, we're hearing about this now, and we get the report, we want to respond.
They look like
Thank you.
every year all of a sudden. Comments by members of the board?
And now we walk out, folks. Pardon me.
Dr. Steinhoff, as one of the newest members of the board, I appreciate this is a very difficult issue for everybody in attendance. I thank everyone for coming to share their comments on both sides, because we heard both sides tonight. Since this has been reported, just in 1 week, I appreciate what the school district has done to try to alleviate fears, discrimination, assaults, whatever, however you want to say it. And I just want to thank you for that.
Good job, man. Good job. I will say that Dr. Stano was asked to come up with options. What can we do to accommodate all students? Architects are coming in tomorrow to see if we can go to all single-use bathrooms, so there is no more bathroom issue. It's not something I can change overnight. Yeah, absolutely. I know they have to work. But if we're going to try and find a solution, we have to find a solution for everyone that works, okay? It is not, it's not, I'll tell you how it will work, and Mike can answer a question if you have it. If we say tonight that every single child has to use a bathroom of their gender at birth, okay? By Friday, we're going to have an injunction by the title court that says that is no longer, until they rule on it, again, feasible. We can't use it. So next once again, the court has stepped in. So we're looking for feasible options that can accommodate all children. We cannot. It was made clear in the ruling that you cannot tell any one of these children what bathroom to use.
What about the locker rooms?
It's precedent, but not law, is that what you're saying?
So
I'll let our solicitor answer.
after the meeting, we're at the end of the meeting. After the meeting, because the meetings are recorded and it goes back and forth. I'm the district solicitor. I'll be pleased to answer questions that you have and provide you with my understanding and my opinion of the law. I don't necessarily provide you my specific guidance that I give to the board because I represent the board. I understand.
Who represents our kids?
I understand that the school board, sir. I understand that, sir. I understand that that the entity is a taxpayer-funded entity, but the advice I provide is to the board. I'll be glad to stay this evening and discuss it with you, and to provide you with some more enlightenment on the topic, possibly some more issues. Everything that was heard here today was, and what Mr. Armour just said is, this is a work in progress. It's an issue that if it had an easy answer, probably all of us that might have had an easy answer, we wouldn't need to be sitting here. Maybe we'd be on some TV. Okay, the answer is, that's a possibility, ma'am.
Immediately, though.
It's a possibility. It was
You mean a possibility? It could be done tomorrow.
It was discussed and asked and evaluated. That's what I'm saying. It's a work in progress. The answer to this cultural problem is
Meeting's October 18th, October 12th. Motion for adjournment?
Yes, he was definitely our welcome on it.